guys, and welcome to Devil Game. Today we are going to be playing Dungeons & Dragons Lost Mine of Phandelver. My Uncle August will be the Dungeons Master. He is excellent and a lot of fun. He will be bringing the game and characters to life. Playing along with me are my cousins, William, Michael, and Carly. My Aunt Anna will be with us as well, observing, offering game mechanics, support, and taking notes of game and character progress. Let's get started.
Brandon, real quick, what's your character's name again? I forgot.
Brotto.
Wait. Your name is Brunto?
Brotto, yeah.
I think he changed
Brotto.
his character with Anna.
Yeah. What did? Oh yeah.
His name is Brotto. I'm Brunto.
Brotto.
That won't be confusing at all.
Brotto.
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 Okay. Is that Brotto with a B or Grotto with a G?
Brotto with a B.
Brotto with a B. Okay,
That won't
Brotto
be
and
confusing at
Brunto.
all.
No, it won't. Alright. So, we can go ahead and get started. Everybody's got the characters? Everybody's ready to go? Alright.
You'll have to trust further.
So, as I recall, we have Aaron the Dwarf Wizard, we've got Lon the High Elf Rogue, Brunto the Human Paladin, and now Brotto the Hill Dwarf Cleric. Is that correct? Alright.
Hello, little me. Welcome to the group.
If you want to know why Evelina's not here, I took care of her. Notice how I put quotation marks on it.
Yes, you took care of her, just as well as you took care of her for. You could barely take care of yourself earlier.
Yes, I know. I need to work on that. Not the Ella part, no, the me part.
Alright. So, after your adventure or misadventure or whatever for the chapter father, and this is going to be kind of annoying. Yeah. As you guys were in town with the town of Saltmarsh, which, you know, having fun, whatever. A dwarf actually named Gundren Rockseeker actually came up to you guys and said, "Hey, I've got an offer for a small job I could get you guys to do, if you're okay with it. See, I've got this business venture for mining that I want to go do in another town, and I need somebody to take some supplies there." And he asked you to bring a wagon load of provisions to the rough and tumble settlement of Phandelver, which is a couple days travel from where you guys are. And he was clearly excited about what he was trying to do with this business venture. A little bit more, whenever you guys pressed for any questions of what was going on, he wouldn't really divulge too much information. And he would only say that he and his brothers had found something big, something great, and that's what we want to do. And he'd pay you guys 10 gold pieces each for escorting his supplies safely to a place called Barthen's Provisions, which was a trading post in Phandelver. And then he set out ahead of you guys with a buddy of his called Sildar Hallwinter. And he just needed to get there early in order to take care of business. And you guys have spent the last few days following the high road from Southport. Or, sorry, not Southport, but Saltmarsh. Southport is a fun beach location that I like to go to. And you've just recently veered on the path to get onto the Tailboard Trail, which you know takes you to Finland, according to the map that you guys have. And you've encountered no trouble so far, but you do know that this territory can be dangerous. And bandits and outlaws and others such have been known to lurk along the trail, which is part of the reason why you've been asked and offered so much money, 10 gold a pop, to take these supplies there. So,
trading supplies to the city.
You're adorable, August.
The reason I'm adorable, thank you. That's what my wife said. She just looked at me and just.
Adorable is not the word I use.
No, she didn't say adorable. She said dork.
Adorable.
Adorkable. No, she didn't say the adorkable part either. She just said dork. But I said I'm playing D&D. Dang it.
I think you're doing awesome, Augie.
Oh, thank you.
Oh, Jessica. I was like, who posted that? That's not Elizabeth.
So, anyways, Carly, to answer your question, what's going on is a dwarf named Gundren Rockseeker has hired you and offered you guys money to take supplies from one location to the other. And you said, money's always nice to have, and we've got free time on our hands. So, let's go ahead and go.
No, but what
Alright.
I said,
Carly.
what I said is, oh, that will be useful.
Oh, that will be useful. Pay off some debts I may have incurred.
No, I said that will be useful for my later events.
Later events.
Such as buying milk from the grocery store. All right. So, I want to know, you guys are driving a wagon. There's a couple of oxen pulling the wagon. Okay. So where are you guys in this party?
I'm in front.
What are you guys? You're in front.
Yes.
In front where?
In front of the wagon.
Okay. So are you driving the wagon or are you like walking in front of the wagon?
Walking in front of the wagon.
Okay. So we got you walking in front of the wagon and the oxen. Okay.
Hey,
So that is-
Uncle Augie,
Yes.
can I be the weirdo that's going back and forth between the trail and the forest, like,
Our visual example was.
Okay. So we got Liar, who's just checking out the woods and the surroundings and coming back and giving periodic cryptic reports of, yeah, there's some stuff out there. I saw a crow. You know what that means.
yeah, get some
And
good
ducking back
looking
off into the All right. Brunto, where are you? Aaron's driving?
Yeah, Aaron's driving.
Okay, and where are you, Brunto?
I'm next. Is the wagon being pulled by horses or donkeys?
I said oxen.
Oxen. Okay. I'm two right, two oxen.
Yeah.
Alright, I'm in between of them. One hand on each horn, to like make sure they're not going too fast or too slow, Just help them through like any particularly
Okay.
difficult.
So you're up there with Brato. So Brunto and Brato are up there in front of the oxen, but Brunto is hand guiding and driving the oxen. And Aaron, what are you doing up there in the wagon then? Just reading your book, I guess? Since you don't have to actually drive, you got it on cruise control?
Yeah, pretty much.
All right. All right. That works then. Okay. So, now that we've and riding and driving the oxen on the wagon full of supplies and ducking back and forth in the woods, giving cryptic messages that have absolutely no meaning whatsoever. And as you
Uncle
guys
Augie,
are all,
can I ask a question?
yes, you may.
My question is, how many mushrooms did I collect?
Roll a survival check.
Already,
What's that?
Carly, come on.
13.
How many?
13.
13. Okay. You find a sufficient number of mushrooms that are non-toxic and edible to be able to satiate your appetite.
I eat them all.
Oh, Carly.
Harley the mushroom fiend. God, or
He's really
Liar the
hard
mushroom
at
fiend.
this, guys.
make it good.
So the rest of you guys, as you're, you know,
Your turn is
going along and plodding along, every now and then the elf will come out of the woods chewing on something. You have no idea what she's chewing on or where she got it from. You know she's not been sneaking into provisions because you're keeping a close eye on that. But she's always eating something as she comes back out of the woods. And it's kind of like, okay.
Squirrels.
So, as we all know, being on a road trip for an extended period of time is always such a delight. It's so much fun, as we all know. So you guys are probably bored out of your minds with sore butts and sore legs.
Except for I.
No, your legs are probably sore too. Well, you know, elf, I guess you can get away with not being as sore.
Not bored though.
Well, you certainly are entertaining yourself. That's true. You've been on the Tribor Trail for about half a day with all this travel that you've been doing. And as you come around the bend, you spot two dead horses sprawled about 50 feet ahead of you, blocking the path. Each has several black feathered arrows sticking out of them. The wolves press close on the trail here, and the steep embankment and dense thickets on either side prevent the wagon from being able to go around or up on the different way. So what do you guys do? We'll start with Aaron.
I come to the forest, and
Okay.
then I look at it, and run back into the forest.
Okay.
Help the oxen, and I go to inspect the horses to see if they were the horses that belong to our employers.
Okay. As you approach the horses, you do actually begin to recognize that these were in fact horses from your employer, Gundren Rockseeker, and his buddy Sildar. It appears they've been dead for some time. So how close to the bodies do you get?
I get close enough to touch them.
You're gonna get close enough to touch them?
I stop about when I realize that they're our employer's horses.
Okay.
Get a bit suspicious.
All right. So I would like everybody to roll initiative.
Can someone turn them into zombies?
So roll a d20 and add your initiative, which should be at the top of the first page of your character sheet.
All right.
Because I just
Because you're in the forest.
William.
So wait, what you get?
Give me a moment. I'm gonna get some things going here.
Oh, so now you're out.
Maybe. All right. There we go. We got liar.
Nice outfit, Anna.
What?
Yeah.
Nice outfit.
Oh, thank you. I'm dressed up as Liar.
Oh.
Yes!
Is that does that pizza have mushrooms on it by chance? That would really fit the character.
I know. I thought about that after the fact.
Yeah, I'm just up as like it.
And Anna, I'm just glad that you enjoy my character.
Your character cracked me up.
The important
He's
thing
not a
about
very good
Dungeons and
team player,
Dragons
though.
is to have fun. That is the most important thing to do.
The first thing
Oh,
Carly
it's not a
did, surgical questions.
My conscience
wait,
does
what
not
is
have very
bad?
much power in my brain.
Wait, what did your dad say the point of Dungeons and Dragons was?
Win.
I don't think I've ever heard of anybody winning Dungeons and Dragons.
I win every time I play. I know what you're talking about.
Wait, let's make it. Whose conscience is dad?
Mine.
I'm not a conscience.
Oh.
I wanted you to be my
What
conscience.
is dad in the group?
Nothing yet, right?
That's my answer.
But I can make it here to go night too.
Okay. So, getting a couple of things set up here. Give me just a moment.
I
Okay.
say, as a messenger from court. A referee, if you will.
All right. So, let's go ahead and go down the list. All right. Did anybody get above a 20? I need to roll for these guys.
I did. I got infinity.
You got an okay, cool. I
Thank
was just
you.
wondering what you were going to say because you're not playing. All right, so nobody got above a 20?
The dead horse.
Dead horse. Okay. Did anybody get above a 15? Okay, so we got Aaron. Okay. Anybody above a 10? Okay. Brato. All right. Anybody above a 5?
Not above. Not above.
Carly got 5.
All right. And Brunto, what did you get?
I got 6.
You got 6. Okay.
You're about to-
And what is your dexterity modifier?
Mine's +0.
Yours is +0. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Carly's is with her dexterity modifier. That she rolled a 2.
Oh wow.
I might
That
have
sucks.
changed the costume.
Role-playing.
Okay. So,
No need to yell.
She's just in the woods, like.
before we get into this, I want to know between Brunto and Brato, what is your passive perception skill?
11.
11.
Yeah.
It's going to be under your stats, Brandon, right under strength, dexterity, constitution.
Oh.
It's just like passive wisdom or passive perception.
According to the character sheet that I have from the kit that I bought, your passive perception is 13.
But he's gone up a level. I don't know if it's changed or not. Probably not.
Unless he somehow magically upped his wisdom score.
Well, he is a flare.
Oh. Getting feisty. Yeah.
He can't de-embolt me. I'm not in the game.
I don't care if they all die.
All right. So did you find it?
Yes,
Okay. Is it 13?
it's 16.
16? What? Did you become proficient in perception? Is that what you did?
Yeah.
Okay.
Hi, Leah.
Hi.
All right. So,
That is, whose name was Elia. It was weird.
in which case, you would have noticed the goblins in the trees on the sideline as you were approaching the horses. So they do not take you by surprise.
Just the cleric?
Just the cleric. Now, if the cleric chooses to let everybody else know, that's his choice.
I scream at the top of my lungs. There are goblins.
All right. So
Hear that?
this is what the map looks like. Give me a moment. All right. So here's the wagon. You got 2 oxen here. I didn't draw them or put them in. Liar's over here, hiding in the trees. Brunto's right here. Aaron's driving the wagon. And you got Brato, who just went up to the 2 dead horses that are right here. And you notice the 4 goblins. All right?
Okay.
So we're going to start at the top of the list. Aaron, you get to go first. What you doing, man?
I get off the wagon.
Okay.
And I get.
Have you seen the goblins yet, or only?
Only Barato saw them, but he yelled at his lungs that there were goblins. So.
Oh, he did. Okay.
Yeah. And once, it's kind of one of those things where you're not paying attention, but as soon as somebody says, hey, look, there are goblins over there, it's like, oh, yeah, I can see them. How did I not see those before? Gee, that sucks.
They don't even camouflage well. They're like greenish, brownish.
Hey, dude,
That's
we should
good
totally
camouflage.
kill magic spell.
So, Aaron, you hear this voice in your head.
Yeah, sorry. Hey, why don't you kill the goblins?
Good idea.
Good idea, me.
Haven't thought about that one yet.
Being sarcastic in his own head. Oh, geez, like I didn't think of that before.
Am I in range of any of the goblins right now?
It depends on what your range is.
I think magic missile will reach him.
Ray of Frost.
All four of the goblins are within 60 feet.
60.
A big 6 and 0, yes.
Your Ray of Frost is exactly 60 feet of range.
Okay. I used Ray of Frost on one of them.
Okay. Now, because they are hiding in the trees, they do have at least half coverage. So go ahead and roll to attack with your spell attack.
Your spell attack, where's your...
This plus this.
10.
10 total?
Yeah.
All right. All right, so you point... Now, yeah, you point at one of the goblins, and as you point, the Ray of Frost puts a nice layer of frost on the trees and the shrubbery surrounding the goblin and a little bit leading up to it, but it doesn't seem to have any effect on the goblin itself, unfortunately.
That voice in your head is throwing you off.
All right, Brato, what are you doing? You are currently up against the horses, and the goblins have not yet started charging you, so they're still in the trees.
Okay, I pull out my warhammer and I charge one of them.
Okay, so you start charging one of the goblins. We'll just pick one randomly that's closest to you, and you are able to reach it.
Okay.
Charge through the shrubs.
So now I swing my warhammer at it.
That would make sense.
Don't headbutt it. It's not a door.
We got that from our last round.
Not that headbutting.
It seems odd while you're swinging your hammer that a voice would say in your head not to headbutt it because it's not a door. You're like, what? Bam! Alright, so what'd you roll to attack?
I rolled a 3.
You rolled a 3. Okay.
On a what? On a D20?
Yep.
Oh, okay. Rolling a 3 on the D20, plus your proficiency bonus, which is 2, plus your strength modifier, which is 2, so that gives you 3 plus 4 is 7. Unfortunately, as you're swinging, the brush is a bit dense, and, you know, it just doesn't land. It just doesn't land. No joy in the hit. All right. But the goblin looks at you and says, I'm sorry, what?
The goblin, not the bush.
And the goblin just ducks out of the way a little bit and says something. And do you speak goblin? Does anybody speak goblin?
I said that weirdo.
Should be on the bottom left of your first page, under proficiencies in other languages.
I I don't speak. I mean, goblin.
Okay. So,
No, but I speak two languages that are really weird.
yeah, we needed to change that because those languages don't exist in this game.
One of them is Goblin.
English, Common, Dwarvish, and Turk.
Could I change them now,
Where
please?
would mine say?
Yes, you can change them now.
Right here. You speak Elvish,
Okay.
Giant, Thief.
Huh. Thieves and giants.
No, it's Celestial.
You talk like
Oh.
All right. So the goblin
Wait, I just-
takes a swing at you with his scimitar. And he gets a 17. What is your AC?
18.
18?
Nice.
All right. So he actually pokes you with his scimitar, but it doesn't penetrate through your armor. So you're like, ah. All right. So he does nothing to you, but his buddy behind him decides to shoot you with an arrow. And he's got a... he hits you with his arrow, because you're not so far away, so it's easy to hit you. But because you're
I'm not 5 feet of
about
him,
the same
right?
same height as his buddy, you know, dwarf and goblin and all that, you're a little taller. He doesn't get you in a very critical spot. So he only deals you 3 points of damage.
Okay.
Okay. Then this other goblin comes charging out of the trees straight towards Brunto. And he's going to take a swing at you. And that's going to swing and a miss. Because I'm pretty sure your AC, Brunto, is like, what, 18?
Yeah.
Yeah. He doesn't hit you. But his buddy behind him takes a lob at you with his arrow. And the people with the arrows are so much better. He's going to hit you with the arrow, but he only does 4 points of damage to you. All right?
Okay.
So, Brunto, you now have a short goblin in front of you and an arrow in your arm.
Am I close enough to Brado so I can do like one of those like around the goblin so I'm within 5 feet of him? Brado?
Alright, finish.
Within 5 feet of Brato?
Yeah, so that way I can use my protection thing.
Okay. Unfortunately, with the way things have gone down, and I have been moving pieces around, this is you.
Yeah.
This is the goblin. 5, 10, 15, 20 feet away from you is Brato with his 2 goblins that he's dealing with. And this is the goblin that shot you. So even if you were, yes, you could. You can actually, so long as you stay within melee range of the goblin, you could shimmy around without any consequences. But unfortunately, you will not be able to get within 5 feet of Brato.
Okay,
it's the goblin.
Wow. You went from to be a very adult male
okay.
voice.
I decide to attack the goblin.
Okay.
Nat 20.
A nat 20. All right, go ahead and roll damage and multiply it by 2.
Good, that would be...
Williams, hear that goblin everywhere.
Could I expend one of my spell slots to use Holy Smite too? So that way
It's a goblin. Just hit it.
Oh, fine, whatever. I need to do 14 damage.
14 damage. Yeah. To answer your question, if you truly wished to, yes, you could have used your Holy Smite. However, as the voice spoke within your mind, you realized it would have been entirely unnecessary. As you, what are you attacking with?
My longsword.
Your longsword. Slice the goblin in half. Realizing pretty effectively and quickly that a Holy Smite would have been overkill for such a little thing. Alright, so that's your turn, Brunto. Liar, what are you doing? You are all the way back by the wagon, hiding in the bushes.
Okay, I hear commotion, and I sneakily run over there. And can I use cunning action?
How close do you want to sneakily run over there? And what are you wanting to do with your cunning action?
About to
Sneak up behind him and stab him in the back.
Yeah, that's what I want him. What I want to do.
Okay. You would be able to just get to the point where you could get to the goblin and actually be able to flank him, which would give you advantage on the attack because you were over here and you were able to go all the way up over to here where that goblin is. Okay?
You're fast.
30 feet of movement, man.
Okay. So can I attack?
Yes, you can attack. You don't have to do any sneaky thing. You just run right up and attack.
Okay, what dice do I roll to attack?
You roll a d20. I know this is new to you.
I rolled a 5 plus strength.
Is her attack plus strength or what?
The weapon should say if it's versatile.
That is the first question to ask is what are you using? And I'm actually going to look up something here really quick with rogues.
Does it say what hit? Oh, it says plus to hit. What does it say? Plus what?
So for my short sword, 1d6 plus 3.
1d. So you're using a short sword?
Mhm.
Okay. All right. And a short sword is a versatile weapon. So you would be able to use, not a versatile, sorry, a finesse weapon. So you would use your dexterity if that's your higher stat. Should be if you're a rogue. Okay. And I would also like to point out to you that you have sneak attack as well.
Okay. Can I use that?
Yes. Sneak attack once per turn. If you have advantage on an attack roll, or you're within 5 feet of it, and another, if you're in melee range with it, and another character is within 5 feet of it, you can also use the sneak attack. So you can totally use the sneak attack, which would add an extra 1d6 of damage to your damage if you successfully hit. But you do have advantage at the moment because you are flanking. So what you're going to do is you're going to roll the d20 twice and take the higher roll.
That was definitely the higher roll.
Yeah, 19.
No, let's see if you
19.
can roll 20.
Let's roll the 5 first.
Oh, yeah.
Plus my dexterity?
Plus your dexterity, plus your proficiency bonus. So that's 19 plus 2, which is 21, plus your dexterity bonus, which is
3.
3. So that's a 24 to hit. I'm here to tell you that successfully hits the goblin. So,
Better.
so now go ahead and roll damage. So you're going to roll 1d6 for sneak attack damage, and then whatever the sword's damage is, which I believe is a 1d6.
Well, don't throw it off the table. What's your weapon damage?
Plus 5.
No. What's it say to roll? Come on.
Roll.
You should say 1d6 or something.
Yeah, 1d6 plus 3.
Okay, 1d6. Okay, so you have a +1 and a +3. Now roll again. Okay, so she has 5 plus 4, so 9.
9 points of damage. Okay. So with that, as you run through the woods, dodging the trees and everything else in your fleet of foot capabilities, you get up behind the goblin that is currently engaged with your new friend Brato and just stab him through the back. And he slides off of your sword back onto the ground.
Say you're welcome to the goblin.
Goblin
not
kebab.
Brato. I say you're welcome to the goblin, but not Brato.
All right. So after Liar, we have Aaron again. You are still standing by the oxen.
Blast him again! Blast him again!
Our conscience is very strong.
Only better.
Better than mine.
I reached the Ray of Frost.
Retry Ray of Frost. Okay, go ahead.
+4. 23.
23. That will hit the goblin. So I'm going to ask you, which goblin are you attacking? Are you attacking the one that shot at Brato or the one that shot at Brunto?
Bruto.
Oh!
Bronto.
I shoot at
getting
Brato.
water help.
The one that shot at Brato.
The one that shot at Brunto. Okay. All right. So that's that guy. So go ahead and roll for damage.
1d8, I think so.
Yeah, 1d8. So this one. Right?
Yep.
3.
3. Okay. So I actually have to keep track of this. I'm sorry.
You got him, sort of.
You got him. You can see through the trees that the frost actually does affect him. You can see him. He's not happy.
What
about
did he say? I speak Goblin. What did
You
he
speak
say?
Goblin? He said, "Frick,
Yeah.
that's freaking gold! I'm gonna kill him!"
No one else knows why, but William starts laughing.
All of a
his
sudden, in the
pants
middle of the
off.
battlefield, Bruto starts laughing and slapping his knees. Yeah.
All right. Brato.
Okay. So I run towards the goblin that shot at me with my
Okay.
weapon raise.
Uh-huh.
Strike.
All right, go for it.
I got a 2.
All right. Well, that's not a critical failure, so that's good. That's good. But, you know, being a hill dwarf, you know, being in these trees, it's a little different. You're not used to it, you know. It's kind of distracting. You miss.
We've been in these woods for 2 days.
Trees everywhere. Just not used to it. All right. So after Brato, the goblins go ahead and go. And so
Like our
with this one, the first one, the one that just got frosted, he's looking at the situation and he shouts out to his buddy who's at you and he's like, "Hey, what's going on?" And he just starts taking off.
I think we should call the one that was frosted Cupcake.
All right.
Just get help. Don't let him.
So he doesn't even bother shooting back at you guys. He just turns and he's gone. And then the other one, who's engaged with you, Brato, he looks at you and he says something in Goblin, which William is able to understand as, "I'm just screwed no matter what." And
He said what?
I'm just screwed, whatever, what.
he takes a stab at Brato and doesn't do very well. He's also distracted at the current moment by the situation going on. He's not having a good day. So that's his turn. That's the Goblin's turn. And so now we go to Brunto. The Goblin that shot at you just took off.
Can I still see him?
Yeah, you can.
You have
He's
any
about-
routines, Matthew?
Are you gonna chase?
If he won't, I will.
No. I have developed better techniques for this sort of situation, and Brento seems very gleeful at this opportunity.
I
I'm
can
sorry,
tell by
what?
your face.
I would like to attempt to use the spell command on that goblin that's running away.
Okay, is there a range on the command spell?
Probably. Let's see.
Let's take a look at that.
And
Believe me.
Command.
60 feet.
Okay,
Range
he
of
is
6.
He is just within range for you to be able to use the command spell.
Okay. Then the goblin needs to make a wisdom saving throw, and if he fails, I can give him a 1-minute command.
He does not succeed on his wisdom saving throw. What is the one word command that you decide to give him?
Halt!
The goblin has decided that it is his best interest to suddenly cease and desist his current activities, and he just stops in his tracks.
I start running to him so he can't get away.
Okay. All right, you close in the. He's still a good 30 feet away from you, but you close in on the distance. All right. So, Liar, what are you doing?
No better
I
technique.
hear the goblin dash into the forest, and then I hear William say halt, and then I dash into the forest after the goblin.
Well, there is a goblin that's much closer to you. The other goblin is a good distance away. He's over 60 feet away from you right now, so you wouldn't be able to get to him even if you were to just flat out dash and run.
She doesn't think about that.
Here, I'll give you a visual image.
I don't.
You are over here. There's this goblin over here. This goblin is all the way over here off the board, just within 60 feet.
Okay,
Well, I
okay.
don't kill prisoners.
I think about it for a second, and then I decide not to, even though my conscience didn't tell me to, and I try to attack the other goblin that I'm standing next to.
Okay, that will not be a difficult thing for you to do. You can also get into flanking with him as well. And go ahead and roll to attack. You have advantage.
I've developed better techniques for this.
I rolled a nat 3.
Okay, so roll it again and see what you get.
I think that was a 0. She
No.
threw it behind her.
No, I rolled
5.
5.
Okay,
Wait, what is she?
Better.
she's rolling to attack.
She just
All right.
rolled a D6. What's she supposed
No,
to do?
you
She's
don't
supposed to
roll a
be rolling
d6.
Roll
You're
a
supposed to be
D20.
rolling a d20. You're rolling to attack, not to hurt.
20.
She rolled a natural 20.
Okay, we'll go with that one. And you're doing sneak attack, so that's impressive. So go ahead and roll 2d6 and multiply it by 2.
2d6.
What's that?
2d6 multiplied by 2. That's right. Yeah. 2. Roll
Roll
another.
again.
So she got 8.
8. 8 total?
Eight
Even
total.
multiplying
Eight
it by
total.
even multiplying it by 2. That's what she got. Okay.
Rolled 2 2s.
Okay, that works.
Wait, does she add any to her attack?
That's the injured one too.
Yeah, it's the d6 plus so 1d6 plus her dexterity modifier, which is what, plus 2 or 3?
I think you're supposed to double the damage
3.
before you add the modifiers.
Well, you're supposed to double the damage before you add the modifiers? Okay, thank you for that. I appreciate that. So it would be the 2 plus 2 times 2, which is 8, plus 3, which is more than enough to kill the goblin.
11.
So that goblin is, again, stabbied, and dead. All
I
right.
use cunning.
No, really.
You just killed it. What are you gonna cunning?
I want to raise.
Yes, you can.
Listen.
In this situation, there are 3 things that you can do with cunning action, which is, let's see, let me make sure I'm reading this right. You can dash, disengage, or hide as a bonus action. So you could go ahead and move an extra distance if you want to run to the other goblin, or you could hide in the bushes that you're in right now. Disengaging won't do you any good.
Hide.
Do one of the other.
I hide. I mean, like, I run into the bushes.
Okay.
Ran into the book.
Okay, so go ahead and roll a stealth check.
So roll D20.
4. All right, and what is your stealth skill modifier?
Plus 3.
She's gonna run to bushes and her ears are gonna be poking out the bush or something like that.
All
I
right.
got a 7 total.
Okay. So if somebody is very not observant, you will probably be hidden from them. But they have to be like less than normally observant. So you do that.
Like she
Well,
grabs
there's the
the
one
branch.
that-
She's like,
It's one of those moving bush things from, all the cartoon shows and video games. All right. So that is your turn, Liar. Aaron, what are you doing? All goblins. The only goblin that is still standing is standing a very far distance away from you, probably outside of your 60-foot range for sure.
I don't want to run that far, so I just get back onto the wagon.
All right. Aaron, seeing the situation, is just like, shrugs, gets back up on the wagon, pulls out his book, and starts going back to the spot where he was at previously. All right. Brato, what are you doing, man?
I dash and start running towards the other goblin.
Don't kill him, just capture him.
Oh, maybe the one. You have gone way too far. Oh.
Okay. So you would get pretty close to the goblin, but not quite to him. Okay. So, it is now the goblin's turn, and does he get, from the command, does he get a spell save or anything at this point, or is he just, how does that work? Going back to command. Command. This is what a new DM looks like.
Hey, stop. It doesn't say anything about breaking the command.
All right,
pretty
and the
sure-
duration,
it only lasts one round.
it only lasts one round.
So are we
Okay.
still within that one round? Has Roncho had his other turn?
No, he has not had his other turn. So the goblin is still going to halt, and that is what he's. But the halt is just a halt. So he actually turns around, and he is going to lob a dagger at the dwarf that's chasing him down.
The dwarf? Oh.
Yeah, the
Actually, it
dwarf
says-
who is.
Augie, with halt, it says the target doesn't move and takes no actions. With the halt command, under
Yeah.
it has. Yeah.
Okay, so yeah, he's basically just like standing there. He's not going to turn around then. So that's the goblin's turn. He's kind of screwed. Brunto, what are you going to do?
Look at that moron.
He actually listened to me.
The dead goblin ghost. Look at that moron. He's just standing
I
there.
am not a dead goblin. All right.
Yeah, keep telling yourself that.
Looking for the dead goblins.
I'm sorry, what?
Oh, it wasn't important.
But it's your turn. What are you doing?
Oh, my turn. I go to the goblin, and I grapple him to the ground.
That's not hard. He's standing there.
Yeah, he would be in range if he was within 60 feet, and you ran 30 feet last time and 30 feet this time. So, grappling him to the ground, I actually read it. It is a contest of your athletics versus what he chooses, whether it be athletics or acrobatics. So go ahead and roll your d20 for your athletics check.
Oh, this goblin's screwed.
Now you
What's
roll
his
one.
athletic?
Never mind, he's not screwed.
Did you roll one?
I rolled a 4, even better.
You rolled
Plus
a
3
4.
though, so there's
Okay.
7.
7.
So you rolled a 7 total. So
No goblin.
the goblin suddenly coming to is like you hear it saying, mumbling to itself as you're approaching and getting ready to just grab onto it. A nice big bear hug. It says, "Why did I stop?" And looks up at you just at the moment as you're about to pounce on it and says, "Oh fuck!" and dodges out of the way. All right. So, Liar, what are you doing? You're hiding behind the bush.
Wagon, huh?
Since I am part of the cartoony world, apparently, in the cartoony bush, I pick up the bush with me in it, only showing my legs and walk over to, I forget his name.
Who are you walking over to? The guy on the wagon or the other guys?
The other guy.
B and B are over there with the goblin. Do you want to walk towards the goblin? Is that what you're doing?
Yes, I'm sneaking towards the goblin. Very
Okay.
fast.
Is that a running bush?
Mike looks up and
Aaron just goes.
All right. If you were actually to use your cunning action to use the dash feature as your bonus, you would be able to
I
reach
do.
the goblin. Okay. So you were able to successfully reach the goblin. And you still have an action.
Ooh! I used that action to kick William's shin.
Carly, play the game, Carly. Play the game.
She was joking.
Oh no.
I used my action to kick the goblin's shin.
Okay, more appropriate. So do an unarmed strike. Go ahead and roll to attack. You have advantage
Obviously.
because there's somebody. Actually, you don't have an advantage. You're not flanking, but you can use your sneak attack.
I do use my sneak attack.
Just sneaks up to Goblin, kicks it, and walks away.
Okay, she rolled a 10 was her high roll. What's your modifier?
Dexterity?
Well, I
Is
think
it
for
dexterity?
unarmed strike, it's going to be strength.
Yeah, for unarmed strike, it is going to be strength. And also, I do need. I did backtrack. This is not an advantage attack. This is just a regular attack. So, what was her first roll?
It was
10.
the 10. Her first roll was the 10.
Okay, her first roll was the 10. Okay. All right, and so that's 10 plus your strength modifier, and you're not proficient.
Carly, what's your strength modifier? Plus 1. So that's an
Okay. All right. That unfortunately is not enough to kick the goblin.
She doesn't even kick the Goblin.
Or at least not to do any damage to the goblin. It just dodges out of the way. Ah! No, they're kicking me! Which everybody else just hears. Alright. So that's Liar's turn. Aaron, you are all the way back on the wagon. Everybody is way out of range. You just kind of look up. Do you want to do anything?
He turns the page.
No.
Alright. Rato.
What?
Rato.
I run at the goblin and I try and grapple with it.
Trying to grapple with the goblin. Okay, go ahead. Roll your athletics.
Okay.
Roll well.
I got a 20 plus 2.
You rolled a natural 20 plus 2. All right. And I rolled a 19 plus 2. So, unfortunately for me and my goblin, you are successful at grappling this goblin. So you now have the goblin holding on to it. Just barely as it's squirming and kicking at you and biting, but you're still able to hold on to it. All right. So now it is. So now it is the goblin's turn, and the goblin is looking at the situation and looking at all of you, and it's like, oh man, please don't kill me, and it's like dropping its weapons, and like trying to like stop biting you, and it's just holding still now. You guys gonna kill me? You guys even speak? I don't know what you guys are gonna do. And that's what the goblin is doing. So, Brunto, it's your turn. What are you gonna do?
Alright, can I try to calm him down by like say, don't worry, we're not gonna kill you in Goblin?
Yeah, you can. Go ahead and roll a persuasion.
No, not persuasion.
Roll a what?
Persuasion.
Persuasion? I get plus 4 in persuasion.
Oh yeah, paladin.
11.
11 total?
Yeah.
All right. the goblin, hearing somebody speaking in goblin, albeit in a strange dialect and accent and whatnot, but still understandable, looks up at you and says, You speak real words, and you're not gonna kill me. Okay, that's good. That's good. Oh,
He's my new favorite.
okay.
We should hire her.
Talk to him. He is him.
What's your name?
My name is Black.
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 That's a wonderful.
Well, most people make fun of my name, but thank you for saying that it's wonderful, even if you have bad taste in the human.
Yeah. We were wondering, like, if you captured any people from those dead horses over there.
Oh, definitely. Yes, we totally captured some people. Captured a dwarf and a human, we did.
Oh, great, because we're looking for them.
That's good that you're looking for them. I'm glad that you're looking for them. Yes.
We will let you live, and set you free if you tell us where, and actually show us where you're keeping them.
You want me to take you there?
Yes.
Oh. He thinks for a moment. You can see some gears ticking in his head. Yeah. I can take you there. Yes, show you the way. Take you there now?
Okay. No, not funny.
No funny business?
Yeah, right now.
I'm not very good at telling jokes, so you don't have to worry about that. I'll keep my jokes to myself.
Alright, well, just as insurance, I'm going to, can I tie a rope, on my hand
Don't
and...
ask him permission.
No, I'm asking the DM. Can I tie a rope to my hand and his hand as, like, insurance that he won't escape?
Yeah, roll a survival check.
What?
Roll a survival check.
Okay. I got a 9 total.
A 9 total?
Yeah.
You got it. Okay. So, you guys have captured this goblin. You've tied yourself to him.
Last time you tied your...
We do not speak of the man in the underwear.
But he is your sworn enemy. Okay.
Yes, I will find him today.
Alright.
Probably find him one night, actually.
So, are you guys going to do anything else while you're still there with the horses or anything else?
Can I loot the horses? I want to root their dead bodies.
I don't think horses carry me.
The goblins probably took everything.
Alright,
Then
you
can
actually...
one problem that we have.
No.
As you go to loot the horses, you notice that actually everything has been already previously looted. There's nothing left on the horses other than meat that has already began to decay.
Well, then I make my way back to everybody else. On my way, can I pick up some mushrooms?
You find a couple, sure.
Okay.
Telling you.
I eat them on my way, and then I meet the others.
It's impressive to the rest of you that she somehow comes out of this encounter fighting goblins, chewing on something all of a sudden. She wasn't chewing on it before, but she's chewing on something now.
If bubblegum was a thing in this world, he'd be a bubblegum junkie.
Keep in mind, Anna, you are the one that is chewing on the mushrooms.
Getting a little warm in here.
All right. Then. All right. So,
you guys secure your cart and stuff.
you all hear this voice dawning in your head.
I run back to the carts and steal some of my stored up mushrooms.
Which nobody has actually noticed that you have hidden them amongst them.
I go
Alright.
back and tie the oxen to a tree.
Okay. You tie the oxen up to a tree. Again, they don't... In this whole interaction, they just kind of stopped and were looking around, so they're dumb oxen. And you tie them up to the tree, and the goblin's like,
Oh, yeah. It would have been hard to take it to the place where we took the human and the dwarf. Yeah, yeah.
alright. You guys doing anything else?
Push the wagon to the side of the trail.
Push what off into the side of the trail?
The wagon.
The wagon? Okay. That would make sense. Or as much of the side of the trail as you can, considering the sloped and shrubby terrain. You'll be able to get it so that if any other passerby comes by, they can get around the wagon for sure. You know.
I vote for him for leader. He doesn't attack doors, and he doesn't need mushrooms.
Hey, that's not always a bad thing.
There are many potatoes.
At least I'm the one that's not starving to death like some people. Looks at the goblin.
I don't even have to eat.
Winston's nickname for Grotto is Mini-Me. Because their names sound almost the same.
You try and convince them of that. That's up to you. Alright. So, following the direction of the goblin up towards the his little secret hideout, or the place that he has told you where you're going to go, you do notice that there is a trail. It's a pretty obvious trail. People have been traveling this for some time. And you come across, after some distance, about an hour or two, walking through the woods, you come across a large cave in the hillside about 5 miles from the scene of the ambush where you guys were at with the dead horses. And a shallow stream is flowing out of the mouth of the cave, which is screened by dense briar thickets, and there is a narrow path that leads into the cave on the right-hand side of the stream. Okay? And the goblin, as you're approaching, Black, as you're approaching, he is just contentedly chatting away at you the entire time, saying things like,
Oh, yes. Human and dwarf, this way. This is where we took them. This is where we take everybody. And we take all our treasure and things like that. I mean, we love it here. It's so much fun. So many trees, so many things to do. Fish in the river.
Good crap.
he's just chatting away and having a gay old time, just chit-chatting up with a human. He even mentions a couple times how odd it is to have a human be able to understand him. Most people just kind of stare at him odd whenever he's swearing obscenities at them and he's stabbing them in the face or whatever else. You know, conversations are a little bit difficult to have sometimes.
Yeah. I also like chit-chat with him, how sometimes I'm not really understood when I like bash doors open and stuff, not using the door handle because door handles are so stupid. Why do we even need door handles?
He completely agrees with you about the stupidity of doors. Obviously, if there was a desire to have some sort of blockade between you and whatever's on the other side, it should be far more effective than a couple of planks of wood. It should be like a stone or, you know, a car or something like that. Doors are just dumb.
Yeah. So stupid.
Hey, shh, guys, that's my whole. Oh wait, I don't understand.
All right.
Speaking in.
So, what are the rest of you guys doing during this whole conversation and traveling up to the mouth of the cave?
Wait, I have a question.
I'm doing my.
Okay.
Are these
Look around before you go in.
Are these
That's what I'm doing.
all finished?
Yeah, the goblin is speaking goblinish. And I'm assuming that Brunto is speaking in goblin back.
Yeah. Yeah, I am.
So they're speaking goblin the entire time. As far as you're concerned, they're talking about you and your beard.
Okay. I'm just looking around at the surroundings.
Looking around at the surroundings? Okay. Go ahead and do me a favor and do a perception check.
Okay, I got 18 plus 3.
18 plus 3. Okay. Alright. So you notice that on the opposite side of the stream, with all the thickets that are on the other side and the briars and whatnot, that would definitely be a good spot to stage an ambush or put somebody there as a sentry to be able to attack on this side of the stream where you're approaching from. And you're keeping an eye out for anybody, but you don't see anybody over on the other side at the moment.
Then mushroom girl to go see if there's anything over there.
I stop and I look at William really weirdly. And I run back into the.
No, you don't hear me. I'm talking to Brandon.
I know. I stop.
Whatever his name is.
I mean, I'm stop, and I look at William's character in the goblin talking, and I look at them with a strange, weirded out face, and dash back in.
Alright. At about this time, I need to ask you guys, what is the marching order? I'm going to say Bleck is up front, so behind him is definitely going to be Brunto. Where are the rest of you guys in the marching order?
I'll be third in line.
Barato is third.
I'll be last.
Okay, Liar is last. And Aaron, that puts you there, unfortunately, second to last. Okay?
You hear me swishing out of the trees.
So,
You're not a rogue if you hear me.
as Bleck is chatting noisily with you about all kinds of things, doors and stabbing people and whatnot, 2 arrows come flying out of the bushes. Woohoo! Yes! And the first one, oh, and they rolled well, actually hits you, Brunto, and deals you 12 points of damage as it strikes true.
Oh, crap!
I told you to go looking on the other side of the street.
You told me you Brandon.
Could I use lay on hands on myself, like,
When it's your turn, sure. Yeah, if you're still alive.
yeah, if I'm still alive.
Alright. The other arrow, I'm sure, is going to hit. It has a 20 to hit, and that's going to you, Barato, which your AC is 18, correct?
Yep.
Alright, and you take 7 points of damage from the arrow flying out of the thicket.
Okay.
Alright. And I now need everybody to roll initiative.
I have a 14.
Okay, hold on just a moment. Yeah. I'm gonna have to draw this up really quick, hope you guys don't mind. I had prepared one map but not the other. I feel so inadequate as a dungeon master. You have no idea.
Listen, the next time you see a place that looks like a good place for an ambush, go see if there's an ambush.
Hey, well, hey.
You deserve that arrow.
Can I dash back into clearing and say, oh, by the way, I saw some goblins, by the way.
I'll remember that next time.
It would probably also be advisable not to let your captive chit-chat as he's taking you to the base where all his buddies are at.
Okay.
Alright, that's a close enough approximation. Okay. So, and you hear some audible cheers and goblin as the arrows land. Yeah! Got him! Alright, so I'm just setting up the map here real quick. Yeah, you. And then there's Aaron. Aaron's over there. Okay. So this is the situation. You guys now clearly see through the thicket the goblins on the other side of the stream. So that's what we're looking at right here. You guys are over here. This right here is a cliff face. Here's the cave wall. You got the stream coming down. More cave wall or cliffside over here and the hillside. And this is all thicket over here that you guys were unable to see these two goblins just sitting over there while Bleck, your buddy over here, was just yapping away as loud as he could. And you guys got hit. So now we're going to go down the... did anybody get above a 20?
I got 20 exact.
You got 20 exact. So that is Brunto. Nobody else? Okay. Did anybody get above a 15?
I got an 18.
Liar. Okay. Not that you are a liar, but... Alright. Did anybody get above a 10? Alright. Rato.
14.
You got 14. Okay. And Aaron, what did you get?
6.
You got a 6.
Book and kill them.
Okay. Alright. So, Brunto, it is now your turn. You have been shot with an arrow and it hurts like the dickens.
Hey, use him as a shield. You're big enough.
I'm too honorable for that. Okay.
Hey, Anna, could you do me a favor? While this is going on, can you look up in the Dungeon Master's Guide, if you have it, permanent injuries?
Okay.
Oh no. Okay.
Oh no,
No.
that can't be good.
Can I do?
That
Yeah.
sounds bad.
Wait, what did he say?
Permanent
Can I-
injury.
Take my long sword, cut the rope as I'm using lay on hands on myself. Is that something I could do?
You gotta pick one action, man.
You're gonna let him go?
Just
Right.
stab
I
him.
use.
I'm pretty sure lay on
I
hands
use-
is not a bonus action.
Alright. So I use lay on hands on myself, expending all hit points from the pool into
Okay.
myself, bringing me up to 10.
Okay. I would consider
I
that
almost-
a wise action.
And then, am I like, so, Grotto's behind me, right?
Brado is right behind you, yeah.
He's within 5 feet, right?
Yeah, he's within 5 feet.
Okay, just wanted to clarify that. I can impose disadvantage on anyone who attacks him until he moves away from me.
Okay.
Is my fighting stance.
Okay. Alright, and then Liar, what are you doing?
I hear an arrow shoot somebody. I look around.
It's pretty obvious to hear an arrow shooting somebody when they cry out, "Ah!"
Goblins on the other far side of the stream.
Yeah, here. Something.
Okay, and I start swimming over the stream.
No, you don't
Going
need to.
towards-
It's a shallow stream. You can run straight across it, no problem.
I do.
Kill him. Kill him. Kill him.
Alright.
Can I hurt?
Yes, even if you use your cunning action to dash, you would be able to reach the goblin. Yes.
Yeah, that's what I do.
Okay.
Can I attack?
Yes, you can attack.
Okay, I attack them.
Will be a
Nice.
normal attack.
So roll a d20.
It's right by you. Liar sucks at attacking. It's so bad.
Roll a 4.
Okay, that's not the worst. She just misses. You know, it's an unfortunate thing, but she misses. It could be a lot worse. She could be stabbing herself.
Oh!
Brado, it is now your turn. You have just been shot with a goblin arrow.
Okay,
It hurt.
so I use my cantrip Sacred Flame, and then I choose the goblin furthest from Liar. And
Okay, choosing the goblin furthest from Liar. Okay.
they have to make
Nice.
a dexterity saving throw.
That's a critical fail.
So
So he fails.
okay, so then they take.
So I believe you go ahead and roll damage.
Sacred Flame is a good spell. Good choice. Good choice.
I rolled a 1.
You rolled a 1. Okay. So that goblin has 1 point of damage, but I believe he also has whoever attacks has advantage on him. Correct? No, that's True Strike. That's a different thing. All right. So a holy flame from Moradin comes out of the sky and burns him a bit. All right. It is now the goblin's turn. First thing, the one that is being attacked by Liar is going to go ahead and drop his bow and try and stabby at Liar. Oh, that's a critical fail. As he's dropping his bow, he actually fumbles trying to pull out his sword and actually manages to trip and fall on the ground right in front of you. So he is now prone.
Ha
You got him! You got him!
Can I scream ha?
Oh!
Yes, you can. That does not require an action. The other goblin is going to go ahead and fire at the guy that just fired him. And he is going to miss. Alright, and then Black is going to go ahead and try and escape from your knots. Darn, he is unsuccessful.
Darn.
But he is struggling against the knots. He's like, "That's right, guys! Kill him! Kill him! Use your worst insults, too! They understand!" Spitheads! Alright. Aaron, it is now your turn.
Okay, I use magic missile on the two that fired at us.
Okay. Go ahead.
There's only 2.
No. One's my...
How does magic missile work?
It automatically hits. So he gets 3 magic missiles.
You roll a 1d4 3 times.
I would attack 2.
4, 3, and a 2.
Is there any goldfish over there?
Alright, so there's 2 targets and you got 3 missiles. Where are the missiles going?
The one that does 4 damage goes to the furthest away one from Liar.
Okay.
And then the other 2 go to the closer one.
The closer one that is prone. Okay. And how much damage total for the one that is prone?
2, 3, 5.
5. Okay. So they're both looking pretty badly hurt. Anna, my first question about the permanent injuries is how much percentage of their hit points do they need to lose in a single attack in order to be able to make it effective? That's the first real question.
Scary moments.
It's optional. It's when it takes a critical hit, when it drops to 0 points but isn't killed outright, or when it fails the death saving throw by 5 or more.
Okay.
So
Okay.
unless it was a critical hit, none of this would apply.
No, it was a critical hit. And Brunto, what is your total hit points?
Yeah, it's 21.
21. Okay.
I will say only about half of the options on the chart would actually apply to an arrow wound. So that would, like, if you roll a d20, if it lands on one of the ones that wouldn't really work for that, then that should just be like, we didn't get it.
Alright, we'll go with that. 17. Tell us what it is later.
Minor scar.
Minor scar. Cool. You've got a minor scar now permanently from when you were shot by a goblin.
Awesome!
I'll type the details in the chat.
Alright. So, where were we at? We were at... Oh, the goblins just got hit by Aaron and his magic missile. Brunto, it is now your turn. There is a goblin tied to you that is currently trying to get away.
Alright, I just have one question before I take my action. Where was the arrow watching me so I can put that in my additional notes?
We're going to say that it was, like, through your shoulder.
Aw. The face will be cooler.
It would be cooler, I agree. But a lot harder to explain.
Scar here. Where did you get that?
Okay.
Better make sure Black doesn't keep... sorry. You better make sure Black doesn't get away.
Okay. I look with distaste at Black because he's like, he led us into a trap, you know? And so I'm like, I'm gonna put you out of your miserable life. And I take my longsword and I attack Black with it.
Okay, go ahead.
Is that honorable? Can a paladin attack a prisoner like that?
Or if he tried to let us into a trap?
It depends on his oath. I would need to know what oath he took. And actually, I don't think he has taken an oath just yet if he's not level 3. Let's take a look at that.
That's like in Van Helsing, he's like, I'm just a friar.
I'm lucky that the gods don't think I killed him.
He has not yet taken his sacred oath. So he cannot break an oath if he has not yet taken it.
He's not quite ready for it, as you can tell.
I should put an additional note. Learned from Black. Whenever he takes the oath, he learned from his mistakes. Mistakes, Black.
You haven't even made a mistake yet.
Okay. Yeah. Oh, yeah, I didn't make a mistake. Nope. No, I rolled an 8.
Well, isn't Black restrained? Wouldn't he have advantage?
He is restrained, but also technically so is Brunto since he is tied to him.
Well, yeah, awesome. Do you?
Player says overpass the punch. And why did you take this?
You missed a prisoner.
Wow.
Simply trying to stand yourself. Hold still.
So it was a 7 total to hit?
8 total to hit.
8 total to hit. No, that does not hit Black, unfortunately. Alright. So, Liar, it is your turn again. There is a goblin who just got hit with 2 beams of light, and he is lying on the ground in front of you, scrambling to grab his sword.
So she gets advantage.
Yes, you get advantage to attack him, if you choose to.
Roll again, you have advantage.
Even if you know it's going to hit, you should always roll a second time in case you get a critical.
I got a 16 on my second one.
Okay.
What do I add?
Proficiency, which is 2, plus your dexterity modifier, which is 3. So that's 16 plus 5, that's 21 to hit. Yes, that will hit this goblin who is on the ground before you. And since you have advantage, you can use your sneak attack, which is an additional 1d6 of damage.
Wow, Liar. Killing it. Literally.
So she has 9.
For my
9.
attack.
9 total. Using your short sword and your fancy fashion, you actually stab him and pin him to the ground as if he was a insect in your collection.
That's a collection?
Good job! Good job!
Yes, I collect dead goblins.
Way to go, Mushroom Girl.
Aha!
Alright. Brato, what are you doing, man?
I'm gonna try using Sacred Flame again.
Okay. So that's another, what was it, dexterity saving throw?
Yes.
Well, you can tell he did a little bit better this time, but still not good enough to get out of the way.
Hey, this time I did 7.
All right. Well, this time you swear to you swear in your heart to Morden that you will be more faithful in your morning prayers, contemplating the construction of the world, if he would just kill this little goblin that shot you. And all of a sudden, you feel the spiritual energy within your heart well up from within you, and you see the goblin just burst into flames.
Way better.
Black notices this too and says, "Oh no!
He
owed me money!" Alright, and it is now Bleck's turn again. And Bleck is going to go ahead and try and... He manages to untie the rope and unfortunately does not have a disengage action. Actually, wait. He uses his disengage and just starts taking off into the cave.
You better stop him! Forget spell slots. Use the hand.
I do have a hand axe.
So he is running and he is shouting at the top of his lungs. Something to the effect of, "Intruders! Help me! Intruders!"
You guys better stop him!
Is that our conscience? Goblin, we better kill our conscience.
Is it my turn?
It is currently Aaron's turn.
Shoot him.
I use magic missile.
Alright, you use magic missile. Go ahead.
Oh, Black!
8.
No.
Oh, instant.
It's instant. So you're going to roll 3d4 plus 3.
1, 2. Good. So 5 plus 3, so 8.
Alright. As Bleck rounds the corner into the cave mouth and he gets just out of sight, you're able to see him just as you cast the magic missiles once again from your fingertips. They go flying around the corner into the cave mouth, and you see a splash of blood coming out of the cave mouth, and you hear an audible You're not sure what the fate of the goblin is, but you're pretty sure Bleck is bleh.
Not Black!
As a matter of fact, shortly a little while later, you see his corpse floating down in the stream, getting caught on a couple of rocks.
That'll learn him.
I don't think he'll be able to learn from that mistake, actually.
There are more spheres beyond this one.
As the two voices discuss this, it seems odd. Alright. So you guys are now...
the goblin can hear you.
My character isn't sneezing. He's sneezing in his mind.
So...
What is wrong with character?
I don't know.
We got
He
about...
likes it.
We got about 15 minutes left. That's enough for some fun. Let's go ahead and see what you guys do. You guys are standing now currently at the entrance to the cave mouth. What are you guys going to do?
I run ahead.
I say we send the rogue ahead and her trying to be stealthy to see if there's any danger inside.
I run ahead stealthily.
I vote with leader play.
As the voice.
Alright.
So here's the cleric and the wizard, you know? And in my heart, I'm like praying to court saying, "Oh man, that was stupid. I almost made a very dumb mistake, man." And I'm like praying my heart out and saying, "Man, I'll never try to make a mistake like that again. That was really dumb."
Yeah,
You
next
feel
time.
a spiritual confirmation within your heart that yes, that was indeed a dumb decision.
I'll think about all my actions.
Don't listen to your heart. Listen to your liver.
Spiritual confirmation in my liver.
It says,
All right.
cirrhosis of the liver, don't drink.
Is anybody else doing anything? We got Liar, she's running into the cave stealthily, which I want you to go ahead and roll a stealth check to do that.
Okay.
Okay.
You got
This one?
the paladin who's praying to Cord. Aaron and Brado, what are you doing?
Probably pretty high.
I go check out the ambush site to make sure there's nothing else there.
Okay, you go over, and in the ambush site, it's a small area that's been hollowed out. There's a couple of wooden planks that the goblins were sitting on or lying on or whatever. And that's pretty much it.
Boring.
Yeah. I mean, there's now a somewhat smoldering goblin corpse and another one that's been stabbed to the ground there at the moment, you know.
I checked the corpses for any valuables.
You find about 3 copper pieces amongst their bodies. And a very crude dice.
I take the 3 copper pieces and I go back to the cave entrance.
But you leave the crude dice.
I grabbed the crude dice.
They're not there.
Alright. So now we're going to go to Liar. Liar, what was your stealth check?
20. Not natural,
What?
but 20.
20. Okay. Alright. So, you go stealthing into the cave. Just inside of the cave mouth, there are a few uneven steps going up into the cave mouth. And you notice to your right that there are some uneven steps going up there as well. And you actually have dark vision. So you're able to able to see into this dark, dank room on the east side of the passage, or to your right. As the cave narrows, or sorry, let me just read it, because the cave narrows to a steep fissure on the far end, and this cave entrance to the right that does not follow the stream, and is filled with a stench of animals. It just smells like dog, like nasty, nasty dog and poo. And you hear the savage snarls and sounds of rattling chains, and you can see there are 3 wolves chained up just inside of the opening. And each wolf's chain leads to an iron rod driven into the base of a stalagmite, just inside, some distance inside of the cave off to your right. Continuing straight ahead, you see that the stream goes burbling up and towards the right in a curve. And I want you to go ahead and roll for me, if you're right there, a perception check.
15 plus.
You know, I've had 2 paladin characters in like actual D&D, you know?
4, so 15 plus 4 is 19.
And go
I got a
took
19. Not natural, just 19.
took an arrow from a goblin. That was a crit. It was
So goblins are his weak point.
every single paladin.
Every single 2.
Well, both my paladins on that ambush, the first arrows.
Alright.
And if you look at the sample size, it's not a very large sample size, but 100% of that sample size.
It's going to just be a statistical anomaly.
All right. You notice that the cave where the river is, actually a high vaulted ceiling, and there appears to be a bridge well above the path that's on the ground with the stream or the brook that you're in, going well above that. So, wait, let me backtrack. I'm getting a little tired in a moment. So you're standing there at the entrance to the cave. You've gone in. Off to your right is the cave where the wolves are. And beyond that, following the stream up the incline and further into the side of the hill, there is a path with some natural steps going up alongside of that. And then, well above that, you see a bridge, a rickety rope and wooden bridge going across the top of the cavern near the ceiling. Those are the things that you notice. So what are you going to do at this point? The wolves have smelled you out.
Okay, so I look at the puppies and
Puppies?
yes.
I said don't pet the puppies.
So I look at the puppies
Mm-hmm.
and I look for a hiding spot.
I whisper to the cave, do you see anything?
I say, totally not.
You gotta play right. You're part of a group and you need their help.
Okay, fine. I actually say, I see 2 wolves and some other things, but most of all, I do hear some chains in the distance and stuff.
This actually does bring up a point. The further into the cave you get, the harder it is to actually be able to hear anything because of the loud, deafening noise that is starting to come from further in of the cave.
Is it coming towards me?
It is not coming towards you. It appears to be at a steady spot right now. I mean, you guys have not gone into an industrial environment, so you don't know what this is like, but when you come to the outside of a factory, you can hear the machinery rumbling on the inside, and it's kind of loud. And as soon as you open up the door and step inside, it can get pretty loud pretty quick. And it gets to the point where it becomes harder and harder to talk to each other. Outside the cave, you can kind of hear a slight rumble. A slight constant noise, white noise. But as soon as you start walking into the cave, it instantly starts getting louder. And the further up the path you go, following the stream, the louder it gets pretty quickly.
That is probably dangerous.
Is it still my turn?
Yes, it is still your turn because you are the only one that is doing anything at the moment.
Okay, so, after hearing the noise getting louder as I increase on my way, I start edging my way over to the shadowy parts of the cave, trying hard not to be seen by stuff that could come from forward. And I still head that way.
Okay. So, but the reason why I mentioned this is you probably would not have been able to hear the whisper from Barato.
I don't hear anything from the cave.
Well, you would have been able to whisper into the cave, and you would have heard this, the loud noise inside of the cave. So, whispering into the cave, hey, do you see anything? You didn't hear any response back because she did not hear you, is what I'm saying.
So I talk louder into the cave, saying,
Okay.
do you see anything?
All right, so you would be able to hear that liar. Somebody's, Brado shouting out to you, do you hear anything? Or see anything?
What time is it right now? Is it daytime, nighttime? How long have they been awake?
It is... it is daytime still. It's probably getting more towards about 4 o'clock. So late afternoon, getting towards evening. Not quite dusk just yet. And it's sometime in the summer months, so.
Could feed Lex corpse to the wolves to get him to shut up.
I walk back Welcome
Alright,
back
so-
to everyone. And
Okay.
I asked for Lex's corpse.
No, it was
Lex.
blown up. Well, by my magic missiles, right?
Well, he said it floated out of the cave.
Oh yeah, floated out.
Yeah. I mean, it's bloody. It's bloodying the stream, that's for sure. From the 3 gaping wounds inside of him.
I asked for William's character to go fetch it for me.
Alright, so the elf has come out of the cave. And she's asking you, Brunto, to fetch the goblin corpse Lek.
The person I thought dead is asking for a dead body. Okay. I go and grab the corpse.
Don't you want
Okay.
to know why?
As I pick it up, I'm like, wait, why do you want a corpse?
I say to feed something that's hungry and won't stop talking.
As the girl who keeps chewing on stuff mysteriously.
And as you can see, I take out my pocket and start nibbling on my mushrooms.
What even are you eating right now? What have you been eating?
I say through a muffled mouth, mushrooms!
I hear
I
loud
mean, you get the
request,
crow
so I
who
go
eats
and fetch the body.
I'm sorry.
a corpse.
Yes. I mean,
Okay.
unless if you want to die.
What exactly do you want this corpse for?
I already told you to feed something that won't stop talking.
Be more
Alright.
specific.
While
dare
Brunto
say-
is arguing about this, Brato wades into the stream and picks up the goblin corpse.
No,
That's what you said you were doing, right, Brato?
What?
That's what you said you were doing, grabbing the corpse?
Yep.
Alright.
Well, I had picked up the corpse and I was like arguing with her, like waving around the corpse, like, why do you want this?
So
I
Prada
wanna-
just grabs it and starts walking.
So Brato comes, grabs the corpse, and is like, doesn't matter, and just starts pulling you along with the corpse into the cave entrance.
And then I go take the bloody corpse and throw it at the wolves.
Alright, so, Brato and Brunto, do you hand the corpse over to Lier?
Yeah.
Okay. Liar, what is your strength?
My strength, let's see. I have no idea. My strength is
2.5.
+1. It is +1.
Okay.
What's the actual mathematical?
No, telling me +1 is fine, because that gives me a good estimation of what the actual strength score is. I would say that picking up a goblin's corpse, you know, it's heavy, but it doesn't encumber you.
Well,
But you're not going to be able to throw it very far. Go ahead and roll for me in athletics to see how far you're able to throw this goblin corpse once you get to the entrance of the cave where the wolves are at.
Roll the 19. What's your athletics modifier?
+3.
You rolled a 22. Or I got a 22.
Total 22.
Okay. All right, so you throw the goblin's corpse a good 5 feet away from you. That's a pretty good toss for a body, you know? And it gets to be within the range of the goblins, and the goblins, or not the goblins, sorry, the wolves, and they, you know, at first they skitter back as you throw something at them, and then they approach the goblin corpse, smell it a little bit, unsure what to do for a moment, and then they start chewing at the bloody spots and licking the bloody spots. And it doesn't take them long, about 10 minutes, and they actually start tearing into it.
We're just watching this?
I don't know. Are you guys just watching it? As far as I'm aware, the only person that's actually gone back into the cave entrance is Liar with the corpse.
Okay, I walk into the cave and see the wolf.
Can I
Okay.
make a torch so I can actually see what's going on in there?
this is a dim light situation, so you would actually be able to, with your natural eyes, be able to get a pretty good glimpse of what's going on.
Wait, I walk in there curious at the noises that the creature is producing.
And then I look at
that just won't shut up is actually 3 wolves who are now currently with chains around their necks, straightening at the chains to, well, they wouldn't be straining at the chains anymore. They probably dragged the corpse closer to where they were, and they're, doing a tug of war with some of the parts, and yeah, it's kind of a gruesome scene. It's, on one hand, Bleck betrayed you. On the other hand, he was a person, and now his body is being torn apart by wolves. It's kind of a gruesome scene. It's not pretty. It's just not pretty.
I motioned for you to follow me deeper into the cave.
I tell William you shouldn't have talked to him to know him better, and then walk deeper into the cave.
I turn around, kind of grossed out, and deeper into the cave, I actually do need a light source to be able to see, right?
Right. It does get dark pretty quick.
Okay, so I'd like to make a torch so I can continue on trying to forget about that gruesome scene that I just saw.
Yeah, it's pretty disturbing. I mean, it's one thing to kill somebody, it's another thing to watch this happen. It's kind of sickening.
It's another thing to feed them to a wolf.
I think Liar's the only one that's not fazed by the wolves eating a goblin.
And that's disturbing. All right. All right. So, you light the torch, which you are successfully able to do that, and you're carrying this torch with you. Now, the main passage from the cave mouth climbs steeply upward, the stream plunging, burbling, and splashing down its west side, or on the left side as it would be. And in the shadows, the side passage leads up the stream, and you're able to follow that. In the shadows of the ceiling to the north, you can just make out the dim shape of a rickety bridge with wooden rope, as Lyra's already seen, crossing over the passage ahead of you. And another passage actually intersects the one that you're currently on about 20 feet above the floor, which is where the bridge is. Now, as you're continuing in, you see the bridge up ahead, and you notice off to your left that there is another passage on the opposite side of the stream that goes up. It almost goes perpendicular to the stream and just goes straight up, and there appears to be a lot of gravel and dirt on that path straight up. And we are actually... I'm sorry, what?
Are we pretty close to a spot where we can save and exit?
That is actually what I was going to suggest, is let's go ahead and stop it right there.
You see a glowing blue orb of light. It says, save? Yes? No.
Yeah, as you guys approach this point, the glowing blue light is there, and as soon as you walk into its space, you hear a ping noise, and the menu pops up.
Francesca's is like,
save. Oh, you don't read. Save and exit.
I say, and then I click save.
I can read.
Okay, sorry.
I laughed out William.
I can read.
I know. I'm just glad. Make her just
I can
glad
read and speak more than you can. 3 languages.
Actually, I can speak more than
You right?
No. Dad, where do
Celestial, common, dwarfish, and dwarf.
That was fun. Thank you, Uncle Augie.
I had fun with you guys too. Does anybody have any comments or suggestions or any requests for the next time that we play?
Oh, language. You can speak.
Nope. Okay. Well,
Yeah,
I had a lot of fun. We'll do this again in 2 weeks. And Anna, I really appreciate your help being able to have somebody to look up rules for me that I don't have memorized on the fly like that.
Anytime you want me to scar my nephew, you just let me know.
speak languages.
All right.
Can
Well, it was a pleasure.
permanent?
Good night, everybody.
Bye.
Alright.
I'll be
love you.
handy whenever it comes to the mountain souls. Okay, bye.
That should have been your snack pack.